Hi book lovers, it's Lady Learn and Explore, and it is my part 2 of my September mid-in book wrap up. So let's just jump into it. So this book, I'm just gonna have to DNF it because it hasn't caught my interest. I think I was on page 15 and it's just not getting to me. I am going to keep it and probably read it again, try to read it again, but it's Gingerbread by Helen Oyini. This is a retelling of Hansel and Gretel. If you could, well, you probably wouldn't have known. But this is just not piquing my interest, and I really do want to read it, but it's just not it's not calling my name. So I'm going to have to, I DNF'd it. So let's go to another future me. So I just finished this book, and yeah, it's Tyler Johnson Was Here by J. Coles. This got me so good. This is about two twin boys, Marvin and Tyler, who grow up in this neighborhood. Gangs, drugs, all that kind of stuff is in the neighborhood, and they're just two twin boys trying to make it. Marvin is very reserved and Tyler is very charismatic. They decide to go to a party one day, and at the party, gunshots go out and everyone's dispersing, and Marvin's trying to find Tyler, and Tyler's nowhere to be found. A couple of days later, I think it's like 2, the police finally figure out that Tyler was murdered, and his name becomes a hashtag. And Marvin is just trying to deal with losing a twin and figure out who murdered his twin. This is so sad because, like, you know that someone's gonna die. Like, you know Tyler's gonna die because it says Tyler Was Here. But, like, to read the pain that Marvin is going through as he tries to deal with losing a twin, it's beautiful. I thing about it is I would not reread this because I don't want to keep crying. This is too painful for me. But I will give it 5 stars. It's too painful, mainly because this book is real life. A teen slain by a cop who thought the teen was a threat. It's very real. So I had to get off the crying train, and I wanted to do another YA book. And this one's called Calling My Name by Leanna Tamani. This follows a young Houston girl named Taja. And she grows up in this Black gospel church going home, very church going home. And she's just adolescent. She's starts off as a naive girl who is praying to God for lying to her mom about not wanting to go to church because she wants to eat a cookie. She's very, it seems like she's very God-fearing, but then does things that make her pray for her sins to go away. There's a lot of very angst in here. She gets a boyfriend, they have sex, and she doesn't say anything. And she portrays herself to be still a virgin. And when people start questioning her because her boyfriend actually said something, she tells her best friend, "No, I don't do that. I'm not like you who just opens your legs. I don't cuss because ladies don't cuss." But it's just very hypocritical of her. I give this book a 2. I didn't like Taja. She made me feel like one of those people who, like, they don't throw dirt on anybody. Like, not like that. She makes me feel like one of those people who go behind your back to talk about you, and they always talk about, like, God and what they did and why God this, God that, and then they're so great when they're the ones doing the dirt. So I don't really like her, and I don't really like this book. So it's a 2 for me. Sorry. I don't know what's up with me in choosing books that make me cry, but same day, if you can't tell, it's just nighttime. But I just finished Tiffany Jackson's Let Me Hear a Rhyme. Yes, Let Me Hear a Rhyme. It's right there. And I give this book 4 stars, mainly because the ending was okay. It wasn't realistic. But again, it's fiction, so can't really get mad at that. It's just, the ending was just meh to me. But the whole beginning is so good and sad. So this follows 3 teens, a Kadir, Jarrell, and Jasmine. Jasmine's older brother, Steph, is murdered, basically. And she is distraught. The beginning of it actually just starts at their house, and it's told in Kader's point of view, because this whole book is spread out between all 3 of their point of views. And so they decide Steph was a rapper. He loved rap. He started making raps. He was a rapper at heart. And they decide that he has all these tapes of him just rapping over beats and stuff, and it's so good that they're going to make him, now that he's gone, they want his legacy to last, so they want to make him famous and have him sign a deal. So while that's going on, Jasmine's trying to figure out how her brother died, because it's been months and still the police haven't said anything about how he died and all that kind of stuff. Then there's like intermingling of like secrets. Like, there's no open communication in this book. Like, I'm like, yeah, come on, if you guys just had an open communication, I think some of this stuff would be, good. Because they all have some secrets. It all gets put on Front Street, later on in the book. But Jasmine's trying to find who killed her brother, why they killed her brother, and all that kind of stuff. And we do find out, and I didn't expect it. Like, I really didn't expect it because I didn't think anyone had a problem with him. And then there were some like points that like showcase something. Like, I was like, oh well, I kind of see why he would get murdered. But then all of a sudden we find out that no, it wasn't even his stuff. So like, it was just really crazy. But this book is really good. There's actually romance in here, good romance. It takes a back burner though, because the whole point of the story is finding out who killed Steph and then also making his music a legacy. And I liked it. Again, 4 stars. I cried. I laughed. I cried some more because there's flashbacks in Steph's point of view. Oh my gosh, I think I'm tearing up now. You hear my voice? And you can tell that he had love for all of his friends and definitely his sister. But yeah, oh my gosh. Such a good book. Such a good book. So I'm just going to try to find the happy book this time so I can stop crying. So I'll see you guys in the future. So to get off the crying train that I've been on, I wanted to do, I guess, like a romance book or something like very uplifting. Romance is where it went. And I have read, I think this is Denise Williams, and How to Fail at Flirting is its title, if you couldn't tell. Look at that. It's kind of thick. So let me give you a synopsis of this. This is about Naya. Naya is a doctor who is a professor at school. I think she's a doctor, she has a PhD in like some math. So she teaches math. And she's very turned down. She used to be very outgoing, very fun, but she had an abusive relationship with another professor that turned very abusive to the point where she became like a shadow of her old self. So 3 years later, she's still in this slump of being turned down, and her 2 best friends, who are also married, decided to give her a list of things to do to make her get out of her comfort zone. One was to let a guy buy a drink for her. Another one is to kiss a stranger and then have sex with a stranger, have a one-night stand. Do something reckless is some of the other ones. So they all plan to have a night out and for her to do this checklist with all of them. Then the husband, his name's Aaron, he had to go to the emergency room for his mother, which is a very funny situation in the book. And this is why her and Jake end up talking. Then Felicia, which is Aaron's wife, Naya's best friend, has to stay home with their 3 kids because they started vomiting. So she's at the bar by herself, and then she meets Jake, and the conversation of how they like became is because Aaron called her and told her that he couldn't go to the bar because his mom was doing something that, I think if my mom was doing and how she ended up with the injury, I would, be embarrassed. And then I was trying to figure out why she was doing it. It's just so funny. That started the whole conversation. And then they have like this very sweet not dates. And she tells him about the checklist that her two friends wanted her to do. And he's like, you know what? Let's just do the checklist then. Let's just check everything off. So they start doing the checklist, and it's so cute and wholesome. Then you get to the point where she wants to, one of the last things is sex with a stranger. And she got so drunk that she just throws up and can't do it. But the next day, he still wants to date her, take her out on a date. And so that starts all this whole mess. But then something else brews, and it's Davis, the abusive ex professor. He starts coming into the picture, and as a whole bunch of drama. Then we find out something about Jake that I was just like, what? No. It's like explained, but still no. But I give this book a 4. I like the ending. It sounded like really realistic. It was great. This should come with trigger warnings because there is a scene that obviously it talks about the abuse aspect of it, but there is a scene in the book where he physically hits her. And I wasn't prepared for that, but yeah, I hope you are. This book, 4. So let's just move on to the next book. So it's another book, obviously. And this is actually an arc of Revenge of the Sluts by Natalie Walton. And I really just literally finished it. This book is about Eden, who is a high school journalist. And she and the whole entire school, including staff, gets an email full of pictures of 7 senior girls in various stages of nudity. And her news club does run a article about what the school's doing about it and what happened and all that kind of stuff. And then we find out that the school doesn't want anything to do with this, wants everything to be hush hush, tells the girls that they shouldn't have sent their news out. So, sorry. All that stupid stuff. And the girls are like, no, you guys need to figure out who did this to us. That's harassment, that's cyberbullying, that's also pornography. But then we find out that all the girls were 18 when they sent the nudes out. So that's not pornography. And I also found out that in the state that they're in, there's no revenge porn laws. So there's that. But they all are trying to find out who the person is that sent all of the pictures. Then all of a sudden, they make a clique called the Slut Squad. And they're trying to get revenge on Eros. That's the made up synonym for the person that sent out their nudes. And the Slut Squad in Eden try to figure out who Eros is, which they do. And I actually didn't think about that. I really thought it was someone else. I thought it was 2 people. I didn't think it was who it turned out to be, but I actually got the reason why they did it. It doesn't make anything they shouldn't have done it. It's very petty, super petty, but it is what it is. I wish someone would. But this book was good. I like the ending. Very realistic, especially with what happened to the boys in the situation. Very realistic. There are some things that were just touch and go with me on this, but overall, I gave it a 4. I liked it. It wasn't a meh, because like there was really some like twists and turns in there that I was just like, what? No, really? But yeah, so it definitely wasn't a 3. So a 4 is what it is. And it was fun. And that's it. On to the next book. So a new day, a new book. I just finished literally 15 minutes ago. And it's by Markea Molite and Martiza Molite, who are sisters, if you couldn't tell by their last name. And it's one of the good ones. So let's just jump into this book, because this is a roller coaster. I cried. There's like this one paragraph, I think it's on page 220, and it just made me just tear up. If you read my Goodreads comments on it, you'll see why I did it, because I was tearing up while like writing my comment. But this book is about 3 sisters. One is named Kiza, Happy, and Jenny. Happy is the youngest, Kiza is the middle, and Jenny is the oldest. Kiza is a YouTube activist. She is proud of her heritage. She is what you would call, quote unquote, the woke person. Happy is just content. She wants to be an actress. She does plays. And then Jenny is the oldest, and I think she is about to become the first to go to like the law school, or she's already completed law school and she's about to be in a law firm as one of those. But the story talks about Kiza, and during a protest, she gets arrested and dies from police brutality. And this is Happy and Jenny's story of them going to do what their sister wanted to do, which is like a end of the year trip to visit all these Black things. I think it's called like the Green Book. I think it's called the Green Book. But what's that the point? So this is point in parts of views. I mean, not parts of views, point of views, POVs. Wow, cannot. Oh my gosh. Anyways, this is told in POVs, and it goes from before the arrest to after the arrest, and then it goes into like there's different story arcs in this book, mainly having to deal with surrounding the girls. Like they talk about Riley, who is the girl's mother, and how her father died by hanging because he was in a sundown town. I hope I said the right, sundown town in Oklahoma. Then you go into another character who I can't, if I tell you like why she's significant, you understand the plot. But we go into another character and her time with the story. So, pretty big book, you know? But then there's a twist. I don't want to tell you the twist, because like I was just like, wait, what? Because it was getting into like Hollywood territory for me with the twist. And I was just like, I don't know how I feel about this book anymore. At first, like, I was vibing with it because, like, this is a story of sisters coming together with their dead sister, and then all of a sudden the twist happened, and I was just like, this is not realistic. So, but whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. I give this book 4 stars, mainly because of the twist. It was actually really because of the twist. It would have been 5 stars if the twist wasn't a part of the storyline. I would have like really loved this book, but because of the twist, it made it unbelievable for me, and I just couldn't rate it high enough because of that. So I hope I interest you with this book because it's a really good book, especially all the point of views. Because I didn't like Happy at first, and she was very unlikable. But as the story progressed, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I like Happy. Get it, Happy. But anyways, on to my next book because this was a long one. Okay, it's another day, a new me. And it's September 13th. So again, I think this is going to be a long video because I told myself I was going to keep reading until the last week of September, which would be the 27th is the day that I was going to stop reading and then just put everything out. So, sorry. But yes. Thank you. Rude. Okay, so now let's get to it because again, this is a long video because basically I'm doing a book every 2 days. So the book I just finished reading literally a couple of minutes ago is by B. Abby Woods and it's Conspiracy in the Capitol. This follows Ray. She is in DC. She works at some kind of firm. I don't think I actually mentioned what firm it is, but she works at a firm. I know she's not a lawyer. And she finds out one of her exes, a very, very dear ex of hers named Flint, is back in town. Flint and her years back used to date, and they were dating for almost a year and some change, and then all of a sudden he ghosted her. They also did a long distance relationship too, which is whoa. He just ghosted her. But during the relationship, she would get these threatening text messages about like not dating Flint anymore or the consequences and all that kind of stuff. So this is years in the future, and Flint's back. And then he tells her that screw the consequences. I'm getting these messages that say I shouldn't be with you. They're threatening me. The reason I ghosted you is because they threatened me with this picture of us having sex. It's just, screw it. I want to be with you. So this is them figuring out how to get back in a relationship because she's heartbroken, and then also figuring out who is sending these messages. And then there's also like some other drama in there, obviously. So let me give you a little rundown for mine. I gave this a 4, mainly because the plot was good. It was like a nice fluff. I had just been like reading a whole bunch of like sad or bittersweet stuff, and I was crying. And this was just like it was semi fluff. There was like drama, steaminess, and love. This is a series. There's the second book to this, but you can technically just read this one and then call it a day. You don't have to actually read the second one. It's just a sequel to this one. I don't know if I am going to read the second one because even though this ended on like a good note, I mean, it ended and I'm like, I don't need a second one. But I do want to know what else is going to happen because the ending of this, when we find out who had been doing all this stuff, I want to know how they're going to get past all this. But yes, Conspiracy in the Capitol is a 4 for me. It was nice and fluffy from what I'm used to. So, on to the next book. Hey guys! Okay, same day at night. I finished another book. I'm in a different location because I'm in my living room because I'm hanging out with my roommate. But I wanted to talk about this book by Jack Harbin. And it's called Kitten. This is the second installation. Is it installation? Installment. I didn't know it was the second installment, so I didn't read the first one. Skipping around. But this is a big daddy. Yes, we love big daddy books. Anyways, this book is about a Black boy named Keith or Kenneth. He goes by Kit. And he gets his job opportunity to be a personal assistant to a Roman Lee. Cute name. And Roman Lee's a dick. I mean, he's a douchebag for real. Anyways, they get into a relationship. Some drama ensues. When I mean drama, I mean there was a plot twist that I was like, oh no, it's that person over there. And it was like not that person. And I felt so guilty for saying it was that person because that person's super sweet. Anyways, this has like a little bit of steam. It's like a low simmer, but it was good. I'm giving it 4 stars because, I mean, I don't think I would reread this. It wasn't enough steam for me to reread. I'm just saying. But it was a good book. And again, it was a big daddy. I love big books. Anyways, so this is a Killian book, if you couldn't tell when I said Black boy and his boss. I guess it's time for another book. I'll see you in the next flash. Hi guys. It's another day. If I'm seem a little different, it's because I have the biggest migraine and I just came home from class, but I wanted to get this done so I could just go to sleep. But this morning I finished Jasmine Gullery's Party of Two and I rated it 4 stars, mainly because I like the storyline, even though the character Olivia got on my nerves with her wanting to think long and hard about like all these decisions and all that kind of stuff. I was just getting frustrated with her. But Party of Two is about a lawyer named Olivia who is a California native, but she moved to New York, and this is her moving back to California to open up a law firm with one of her other friends. She meets this guy at a bar, and I think his name is Max. His name is Max. And it turns out that Max is the senator of California. And they hit it off. They decide to hide their relationship for a minute, and then they decide to go public. But in there, it's not that much drama. There's actually not that much drama in here because it's not drama. Like, it's not, oh, ex-girlfriend comes back into his life or a boyfriend comes back into her life. It's mainly her and her willingness to be in the spotlight since he's a senator. And, this is their love story, basically. that's really much it. Like, it was a good book for what it was, but it's not like a rereadable book for me. So a 4-star. I would have given it a 3-star, but again, I like the storyline, and it wasn't like a meh, because it was a good plot. It took me about three days to read this because I was busy. So the ending for me made it a 4 because it's gonna be like a meh for me. But the ending correlated to what was going on, and the ending was really cute. So yeah, 4 for me, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be better. Hopefully I'll have a new book for you guys. But yes, I'll see you guys in the future. Hi again. It's a new day, a new me. And so I went on Net Gallery and created my own profile. And I wanted to request books to read. Some, actually most, haven't came out yet or have came out and I just sent them. One of the books I just finished reading is Mystic Bonds by C.C. Solomon. And this is a first of a series. I think the series, yeah, because this says Paranormal World Book 1 on my Kindle. So, this is a dystopian world where a virus had wreaked havoc on the world and turned half the population into paranormal beings and the other half just regular humans who either died from the virus or never caught the virus in the first place. It's told from the point of view of Amina, or Mina, who is a witch. And her brother, Charles, is also superhuman. I think he's also a witch too. But there are vampires, werewolves, shapeshifters, sirens, telekinesis, all these paranormal beings. Then there's humans. So Amina and Charles decide to save a group of people that are being hunted by this big, huge dog beast. And she saves them, and then it turns out that they are scientists who took her and her brother into a facility to study them. What happens in this facility is that the humans have found a way to harness the paranormal beings' likeness to make them more stronger. The side effect is that they get addicted to that serum. We follow Amina as she tries to get out of this facility, and which she does. But now she knows there's other facilities around here, around the world, and it's up to her and the people she got out with to go take them down, but also go back for the people that they left in the facility that they broke out of. There is a lot going on in the first book because there's a love triangle, and then there is very big tension between one of the suitors that lead into the next book. The overall concept of the book was meh. I've seen it done before, but I liked how they incorporated. It wasn't as dystopian as I would have thought. So like the Walking Dead dystopia, they still had cars, they still had running facilities. It's just that some of the facilities, some of the more wealthier parts of the city had that. So I guess now that I think about it, it's like a 3. Yeah, it's a 3 for me now. Now that I sat with it and thought hard. Because If I read this 3 days ago, and if I have so much trouble remembering the content, then that means that it wasn't as memorable as I would have thought. But it was a nice read. So, I realized that this was going to be a long video, and I'm just going to take it upon myself to reel myself in and end it now. It's ending on September 16th. I was going to pull it out until the 27th of September, but we're already at like 40 minutes, so that's enough. I hope to see you guys in my next video. I think I now know like my groove of things, and I probably won't do as many books in a month, or I might. It just depends. It just depends. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.